Hi, welcome back to the Jack and Glenn channel. I'm Jackie.
And I'm my husband, Glenn.
He's my husband, Glenn.
Hey, before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification. If you're new here, we're going to talk about Married at First Sight, season 18, episode number, I believe this is episode number 5, right? We're going to talk about Married.
Is it 5 already?
It's 5 already, right? 5 already. Married at First Sight, episode 18, season 18, episode number 5. Couples are still on their honeymoons. And we get to see how things play out and work out with these couples.
Well, they just started the honeymoon, so yeah, of course they're still on it.
They're still on it, but sometimes they accelerate, they move on. But we get to talk about the couples. So once again, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, leave a comment, and sit back and relax and enjoy for the next few minutes. Let's go. Let's get it.
We're gonna leave the troubled children for last.
Let's go to easy couples.
Yes, Thomas and Camille, very easy.
Easy peasy.
Very easy.
It really ain't cheesy.
They're liking each other. They go kayaking, trying to get in tune with each other. In sync
with one another.
The one thing that she took from that hit was like, she's sitting in the front of the kayak. She was like, water's her thing. She's going to do the water thing. And like she had take the lead and she was like, I'm going to let him do this while we're on vacation, but I prefer a man to take the lead because I have to make so many decisions and stuff. At work, like I want him to. So I'm gonna give him the vacation, but once we get home, I'm gonna need you to do something.
One thing I liked about she started communicating that to him, right? Because his friends told her that he's kind of laid back, that he plays quiet, right? If you want a guy to take the lead, and some guys are not natural leaders, it is what it is. You got to communicate that, especially in relationships, right? You have to communicate to him. I need you to do X, Y, Z. I don't know you, man. Right, let's be honest. I don't know you. We're gonna have to communicate. It's not like we had opportunity to date.
Right.
We're not dating, so you don't know my personality. We're meeting each other for the first time. We're conversing at night. We're doing things while cameras off. Have that conversation with me. And I think as a guy, if I was on this, I'd be like, "Are you the type? I want me to lead?" I wouldn't actually lead anyway because I think I'm just talk all the time and I lead.
Just because you talk all the time don't mean you lead.
No, but we lead in situations, but you lead in things. You be proactive, right? It's like a learning process. And he hasn't tried to learn what she likes, but she wants him to lead. But at least that'd be a question. How are you in a relationship? Are you a follower? Is a leader? Do you need me to lead? And I think men sometimes gotta be natural leaders. That don't mean you know because you're a leader don't mean you know everything. Right.
But I think the difference is, again, this is Married at First Sight. So I don't want to, and we've seen them experience this before. The guys don't want to go out there too much because it's like maybe she's not ready for that.
Right.
Even when it comes to, we'll talk about it with Madison and Allan. When it comes to affection, it's like I don't want to push because
you gotta know your boundaries. And I think this is weird because you want to hold hands, but do I want to hold a hand? Do I need to smack on the butt? Can't smack a butt. Do we need to all right, let's get up and go kayaking? How do you're learning how to approach some of these situations and you're doing it without the period of dating. You're doing it real quick and you only have 8 weeks. So it's accelerated. So you want to, like I said, you want to lead. I think he does want to lead, but at the same time, you don't want to lead wrong and you don't want to go too far out there because we've seen past episodes where people have gone too far out there and it turned their partner off. And so past seasons. So you want to have that balance. And I think he's trying to figure out that balance. I think he will lead when they get back to Chicago and in his own space, in his own environment. Right now is a lack of forget about the pun, is the honeymoon period, right? Of their relationship. But she's expressed, I like they express what they want and they communicate. And she's very open about it.
Yeah, so. I like them, especially you touched on the fact that, they haven't dated each other, but that's the point they made. They went out to dinner.
Yeah.
They had dinner together. And, is this something that he asked? Is this something like you like to do regular? Because I like to go out to eat. I like to cook or whatever and go get drinks. And they talk about just getting to know each other. And she was like, well, while we're getting to know each other, ask some questions. Tell me about your family dynamic. I thought it was interesting that she said, this is my bio mom, this is my adopted mom. And he shared that he didn't even find out he was adopted till he was in his 30s. He said he's got 4 older siblings.
Yeah.
And he's got 1 younger sibling. And he says, mom made a post on Facebook and said something about adopting twins. And he was like, what? He said he called his dad and was like, what? mom talking about? And Dad was like, I wanted to tell you he was 18. Let me tell you something. To tell you when you was 18 tripped me out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, why would you wait till you was 18? Why would you wait till they were 18?
Guess they figured they could handle it more, be more mature.
But I think it's reality. I'm not saying for them, but for like some adoptive kids, they'd be like, well, why I don't look like my siblings? Why I don't act like my siblings? Why?
Or unless you,
like,
I know you're not the only sibling, but you're your twin, so.
Right, but I'm just saying the rest of them, like maybe they light skinned and their siblings are dark skinned or brown skinned.
I know some siblings who are actually the parents and they don't act like and look like neither.
Right. But I thought that was interesting. But yeah, he said he was in his 30s. And his dad told him the truth. And
at that point, your parents already taking care of you. That's the only parents you know. Right.
That's why I'm like, at that point, like,
I don't think you take it to the grave. You let them. I mean, at that point, you should be able to handle. I can say you should be able to handle it. It's like y'all lied to me all these years, but you took care of me, but you lied to me.
But it's also, it's different. Like I grew up, a friend of mine, one of my day ones, like grew up with her. She was adopted. She always knew. Like I feel it. I could be wrong, but as I knew she was adopted when we were little. So and I think by her knowing, she appreciated more so the parents that took her in. So I think that's a difference that you have too. Just to show like you really loved us. You took some kids that didn't even weren't fruit of your loin,
mm-hmm.
But anyway, so then he talks about how he found out after that his dad had cancer. It was very aggressive. 3 to 4 months later, he had passed away. And so he appreciated having that conversation before everything happened with his dad. And she just talked about, I appreciate you sharing that with me. And then she shared some too about her parents being separated when she was 10 and they finally got divorced when she was 16. And she doesn't really talk about that a lot, but this was a space where they was, I could share that and be vulnerable and be transparent. So they just had a nice little conversation. He talked about how welcoming she was, and they both feel comfortable around each other to talk.
I mean, I think they're doing it correctly. Mm-hmm. I think they're doing it right by having the conversations. They're conversing well with one another, and I think they're doing a good job.
Yeah, she said she likes the getting to know you because it'll make it easier to make the decision on decision day. The other thing I want to share with her that she talks about with the other girls is she just talks about how with them sharing like affection. She said we were on the beach and he was like, little corny thing. I always had this vision of being on the beach with somebody with the ocean behind me, a little bit of rain falling, and kissing them. And she was like, I think we can do that. Okay, check that off your bucket list. So I thought it was cute for them. And then later we do see them have a little conversation on the boat when all the couples go out. But I'll talk about those conversations.
Yeah, those conversations
when we get to the boat. But that's really it with Thomas and Camille right now. I'm gonna say they're my favorite. I hate saying that because then I feel like I'll be getting let down. I get let down. So where do we want to go next? I think EKG and MM. They were pretty easy too.
Pretty chill this episode.
We see Thomas and Camille had dinner. We see EKG and MM. They have breakfast. She had a whole spread set up for them. Thought it was real sweet. But then when they was out there, it started raining, so they had to go inside. Don't want no soggy pancakes.
One thing I like about that was he was willing to cover her hair. He seemed like he a real gentleman. I don't. He
got good sense when you dealing with a black woman. Don't be having my leave out sticking up above my tracks.
Was it extra? Not extra? I think he's really a gentleman in there,
for sure,
trying to do that. So.
For sure.
I take my hats off to him to cover his head. He didn't worry about himself, but he worried about her.
He ain't got no hair.
But I'm saying he was putting his best foot forward. He was being a gentleman.
Absolutely. What are they looking forward to? Just enjoying the moments of getting to know each other. They They talk about their dating history. She said she didn't have her first date till she was in high school because she was a tomboy. She was an athlete just in sports. Ikechi was like, he went to a different school in different states almost every year in high school. So he basically was like, he was kind of oblivious to girls trying to talk to him. It was just like he didn't have no idea. Then it hip to like, oh shoot, somebody hip him too. Girls be liking you, right? He's like, oh, what? Oh, okay.
He had so much problems at home that he didn't even have to worry about girls. Like when you get to when you have that home life that he was having, like that's the last thing on your mind.
And when he says like a different school in a different state, like literally, he went from Houston to Atlanta but from his mom to his dad, and he said that at one point, him and his dad, he said because they were so much alike, they didn't get along, and he said it like one day I was having a good day, and dad wasn't having a good day, and he kicked me out. I was 16. He kicked me out. I went to live with some college age guys that I knew that were like father figures to me.
There's a lot more to that story.
Yeah, and
I'm sitting there like y'all went back and forth.
Yeah,
you really had to bump heads for that man to be like, yo, you got to get up out of here, Pete, dog.
But he says mom found out about it. Was like, no, you need to come home, come to Houston, and yeah, and so he was like getting emotional because he was like, that's why he likes to work with students. He was like, especially kids from the hood, because he went through that, and he said basically it feels like that's me paying it forward, giving back, because I was in that state. If I can help somebody else that's in that situation, see that if there's more, then I feel like I've done something.
And I totally get what he's coming from, because you want to give back. You want to be able to change that one life, as he mentioned. When you change that one life, you can change a family. You can change a family tree, right? A legacy. You can get that kid can be the person who starts everything off. And so, I can feel him on that. Being a coach and being involved with kids. You change that one kid life, you can change everybody. So that's something that I can appreciate from him.
Yeah, and I think he felt like somebody did that for him. If I can help somebody else not struggle. And so her transparent moment was the fact that growing up, she had to hold on to her emotions. She was like, her parents didn't tell her, I love you. That's just not something they did. And she said, when her dad got sick, and when it was getting close to him passing or whatever, she said, he told her that he loved her, and she was like, that meant a lot to her. That was like their last conversation. And so just trying to be more emotional and vulnerable. And he was like, you can let your guard down, and our vows, she said in our vows, we said we'd be vulnerable. So that's what we're going to do.
But I think you could have picked that up on her when she was talking about why she wasn't married, right? Because she was so driven to be a professional that love wasn't there. She was trying to prove to her dad, I can make it, prove to her family that I can do this. Her advice to her dad gave her, he told him, look, get your job first, get your career, then find love. And maybe that's because of her culture, where she's from. But gotta have that love, right? You got to be able to say I love you. We got a kid who say every time they get off the phone,
I was just about to say that.
I love you, right? I love you, and we show that affection, and it doesn't matter where they're at or what they're doing. It's always I love you. Talk to you later. Love you all. And so you have to be able to show that love in the house, and I think that may end up being a barrier for her later on when they have to show emotion, have to show feelings. She says she tried to be vulnerable, and she's gonna open up. But sometimes it's not as easy. It's easier said than done when you got to hit that switch, and you're not used to doing that with somebody, especially somebody that's a stranger. So we'll see how that opens up. I hope she can stay vulnerable, because I'm always rooting for Black love.
Because they're like my second favorite couple. Between me and my sister.
But there's still something about him though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because he talks.
When me and my sister talk about it, she was like, I feel like he might be putting on.
It does. It comes off that way though. I mean, he may be genuine, but to me, and I'm a guy, it comes off, it comes off like too perfect, right? It comes off like, and I know he said he's been preparing. I know he said he's been preparing for a wife, but it comes off too
But I expect that because remember they said he's looking for a unicorn. He's looking for perfection. So I imagine him trying not to mess up. Like I'm trying to be. I don't want to do nothing wrong. I want to be. So I can see that. I can see that.
Okay.
The only other thing with them, real quick, because there was one point where the guys met up and the girls met up, and so he just they kind of regrouped, and I'll get to that once I'm gonna talk about the guy and girl conversation. It'll make more sense what he said to her. Okay. Do we want to do Carly E. Wancho. She keeps calling him Wancho. Poppy Juan. Poppy Wancho. We see them eating breakfast to start. Second day of the honeymoon, lox and bagels, and they have a whole conversation about capers. And then they talk about finances. And he was like, I'm an entrepreneur. I don't spend a lot of money. You talk about you go buy juice. And
but I got to pay my employees. I got to pay my developers.
Yeah, because he's got a startup. And so he has to pay. He's like, it's like a money pit. Like I get money. I'm not making as much money, but I still have to pay these people. And so he was like, so I know you like to travel. So sometimes you might travel and I might not be able to go because I got to pay people. And she was like, but I got married to spend time with somebody so we can go places. And he was like, but
when you in that case, when you are developing an app or you're developing something, it is about spending money. It's about marketing, by getting it out there and you wanted to grow. And so you are putting money in a pit. Sometimes I just listened to something the other day. A guy was developing something for like 10, 11 years and finally had to give up on it and invested like about $1 million into it. All right. And it didn't go off. And so sometimes when that entrepreneur life, he does say he had a 9-to-5. So he's not like my man from a couple seasons ago. What was that? Boston season. We try to figure out what he did for a living. What's his name? He messes with Mindy now.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Right? Steve.
Yeah, Steve. Right. So he's not like Steve. He does have a 9-to-5, but he also have other ventures that he's working on. And he's letting her know, look, hey, my finances are tied up. We're gonna be okay, but they're tied up in other avenues, and I may have to pay $10,000 a month to this person. So I'm gonna let you know that the life that you're looking for, you may not get right away. He didn't say she was gonna get. He just said you're not gonna get it right away. It's gonna be a process to it. So at least he was up and honest with her about the finances. He said, your money is your money. Now, I have a problem with that. Your money is your money, because I just think, I think money should be together. If the 201, so is our money. That's just mine. Y'all leave a comment. That's what I believe. Yeah. Why you saying like that? Like we ain't got the same bank account.
I ain't saying that.
Like we ain't together, Like we ain't been together for the last 23 years.
I ain't saying that. I'm just saying. That's a whole nother conversation. I think people are funny about that, because it's like, if I'm bringing more in than the other person, then it's like, you want to spend my money, but you ain't bringing none in. So people get funny about stuff like that. They do, which is what she said.
Yeah, what she said, but I'm an entrepreneur too, and I have this, and this. So I bring mine in.
But his thing was too that she could be frivolous with her money, but her thing was, I take care of my obligations. But I do like to splurge, especially when it comes to food. Especially when it comes to food.
And when she said that, I looked at her and I'm like, where the food go?
She got a high metabolism.
Like where does the food go? Right? Where does the food go? But it's one of those things. Again, in a relationship, somebody's gonna have to make more than somebody else.
Yeah, he was like, I'm not gonna tell you what to do with your money. Do your own stuff. And she was like, I understand that. But again, I didn't get into a marriage to be doing my own thing. I do want to do it with somebody, go places with somebody, have dinner with somebody,
But that's why they gotta get on the same page. They gotta get on what works for them financially, budget wise. Knowing each other's routine, knowing what they bring, and so in that time, bring what they bring in, because he's gonna he's gonna have to merge his life with her life, and they're gonna have to come and get it together.
Because that was his thing. He was like, well, what if it's a point where I can't, give the money? She was like, no, I understand. I'm good with that. As long as we have an open conversation about it, and But she said, I do feel like I want somebody to want to take care of me and share life with me. I'm glad. See, in the preview it cut it like somebody take care of me. That's not all she said.
No,
she said I want somebody to take care of me and to share life with me.
We can't trust the previews anyway, right? They always be setting you up to let you down, right? But again, that whole money thing is a conversation because you want to be able to do it right together, right? Because the same thing if someone has a student loan, well, I make this amount and we get married and you got student loan, it becomes our student loan now. It's not just yours, it's ours. We pay it off together. That's what it is. It's our thing. So, what are you looking at me like that for?
Why do you keep saying that?
Because I'll be listening to
I'm looking at
I'll be on my money
looking at you like that because I know that I'm sure there'll be people in the chat. Like I said, they'll be like, yeah, I get that the 201, but still, this paycheck got my name on it. That paycheck got your name on it, and you get a W-2, I get a W-2. It don't say both our names. So,
but that's a whole different look. That's a whole podcast and a show by itself. People do different things.
I'm just letting you know, it's not nothing for you. I just know people will be like,
But people do different things, but it doesn't make it necessarily right.
It don't necessarily make what you do right neither.
It does not.
That's
but
what
the legality of the piece and all that, it's so many pieces out there. Let's bring this thing together, right? And we were on the same team to death do us part, for sickness and health, for richer or for poor. These are vows that people take. So why don't you? Two are better than one. And every proverb, you ain't got to be religious neither. Two are better than one. So you bring two together, it should be better than you just, because I'll say this and we'll move on. We'll move on. Right?
Are you?
Yeah, I'm going to move on. This is one of my things.
But I would say that people is real sticky about, people are real sticky about that.
Because that's what happens, right? This is how you end up, and we know people like this, end up and a husband pay all the bills and something happened and the wife don't know how to get access to the money. Right? Or the wife pay all the bills and the husband don't have access to the money. Nobody's name on anything, so he dies and you locked out of your accounts and can't get no money. You and your kids going hungry. And we know people who this happened to, right? Who got
that's not necessarily because they didn't share the same bank account. They shared, it was just like one person.
They didn't share the same bank account. It was his money. He went into a coma and she had no access to anything. That's why
she had her own. So what?
Her own wasn't enough when he went into coma. Anyway, that's a whole different conversation. I'm just saying, I've seen it go south. But I digress. Back to Married at First Sight.
This is still Married at First Sight. But I'm just saying, I just know, that's a touchy thing.
But no, all seriousness though, that's stuff you talk about before you get married. We shouldn't be having this conversation 2 years in after we get married.
Right.
We should be having this conversation before we say I do. Mm-hmm. We should be having this conversation
outside of Married at First Sight.
Outside of Married
at First Sight, conversation.
Yeah. But in real life, you should be having that conversation before you say I do.
And so then they go on a little boat and they go on a canoe. And my remark was that there's water already in the boat. I feel like that's a disaster.
It had already rained. Remember, it rained all day, so the boat had filled up with water.
But my point, I'm not getting ready to get in no boat that already got water in it. Because what happened is these jokers trying to save the camera and trying to miss hitting another canoe, freaking capsized the boat.
And then she jumps out like Wonder Woman.
She jumped. But I figured the reason why she was dry is because she was right there by the whatever, it was a ledge or whatever, the edge. And so she just reached for it. She ain't big as a minute. And she came out dry. He was soaked.
and even the producers were like, how are you so dry?
She was like, I don't know. I guess it just leaked out.
I leaked out.
You left that man.
High and dry, just drowning, huh? You just let him drown, huh? You just let him fall in the water.
And then they go get back in the boat.
Which we find out later, that was like their second day doing it because they did it the day before and everything went perfectly fine. So
they want to try it again. The one thing with them, they go have a massage, and she had a conversation when she was with the girls. It's like, I'm attracted to Juan, but we're trying to keep go slow with the intimacy. Right. So in this space where they do the canoes and then they go for a massage, they both in their own vignettes talk about how attractive attracted they are to each other and how they would like to, you know, increase the intimacy. She was like, I want to just reach over and kiss Juan, and he's like, you know, I want to see my wife's naked body, because she says on the shoot, what were they on when they were on their way to the boat?
Yeah, it was on that truck.
When they was in the truck or whatever, how I hate clothes. This is torture being in clothes. I would be sitting around here naked. I'm like, child, she just got really, she just opened up a whole lot.
Yeah,
on
she
that ride
started talking about penises and how
gosh.
penises are magic wands and how they just got to be inserted and just got to let, you know, make sure the magic wand. She's gotten deep, and Juan is just sitting back there like, oh my gosh. And then you have my man, what's his name, Allan, want to comment. He's like, hold on, I'm talking. Hey, Allan.
When Thomas was like, I'm just glad to know that my man parts is a magic wand.
My man parts is a magic wand.
But yeah, so they enjoyed the couple massage, and he was trying to catch a peek. Poor thing. She's so thin, and body parts is lacking. I'm like, Juan, it ain't much to look at, but I mean, to each his own. If that's what you like,
that's what he likes. He like it. I love it, and she's gonna do what she gonna do.
But in his vignette, Juan's thing was, you know, I'm trying to do something different and take intimacy slow, because usually I jump ahead, so I'm trying not to do that. And same thing for her. But yeah. The only other thing with them was they had a whole conversation about how this toilet paper go.
Was she drunk on that whole sex thing when she was talking?
No, we talked about it. She's earthy. I'm not trying to. God knows. Listen. She's just a little bit ditzy, a little airheady.
She one with the earth.
Very much. I'm gonna say what's on my mind. It was a little inappropriate. Like, wow.
She embarrassed her, and she wasn't embarrassed by it neither.
No, but some of the other people on the in the truck, the van or whatever, they were a little embarrassed. I feel like Juan might have been a touch embarrassed at what she was saying.
Might have been a little. That's why he was quiet. That's why he didn't say anything. But again, he didn't want to argue and he didn't want to move on. So she was good by it. Juan and Carla are I like her because she's exciting, because you never know what you're gonna get. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like,
you never know what you're gonna get.
You never know what you're gonna get. Yeah.
All right. Let's do Madison and Allan. I told you we're gonna leave the train wreck for last. Madison and Allan. We kind of got to do the train wreck with them because
yeah.
All right. So it opens with David going to the gym. He runs into Madison at the gym.
Yes.
They're on a treadmill having a conversation. And he was like, you know, basically he wants to like pick her brain, because they both having some issues in their marriages. So how's everything going with you? How's everything going with you? What do you think I should do? Well, what do you think I should do? You know, and so I'm gonna get into that some more.
He said, well, I thought I'd meet you here or see you here or something like that. I will meet somebody in the gym that I know, because again, he can't stay in his own room because she needs space.
Oh gosh.
And I think he was out there looking at the stars or something like that. Yeah, he was out there looking at the stars. Anyway.
And so Madison talks about how Allan was in a really super toxic relationship. And she had a toxic relationship before. So him having been in that, his was more recent than hers. It does kind of trigger her flashbacks of the toxic relationship that she was in. But, just trying to make the best of this, the situation where they are. David talks about how he's in a 12-year relationship on and off. Well, his thing is, I'll be trying to talk to Michelle. And these are some things I want to share, but how she was overwhelmed. Her family said I'm coming at her too much, so I'm holding back. But I haven't had a chance to share this with her. And he talks about how he's in a 12-year relationship off and on. How he's got her name tattooed on his chest. And he was like, I haven't shared that with her yet.
How he was engaged. Let's not forget that he was engaged.
Oh, yeah. I ain't said that. Yeah.
Yeah, he was engaged.
Yeah, he was engaged. And Madison's like, why you haven't shared this? He was like, I didn't want to overwhelm her.
He shared the wrong things first. No, I'm just being honest. Those are things you share before you say I live in my mom's basement or I live at home.
True.
You know what? I want to let you know I was engaged before. I also want to let you look at the other couple. Casey told MM.
But that was on the honeymoon.
On the honeymoon. But yeah, what I'm saying, you tell some of these things. I think you can be open, but you have to be strategic and intentional. There's orders that you do this thing in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the order he did it in was wrong, which has set his relationship back because he enjoy the moment, enjoy the wedding, wait till you guys get by yourself, wait till you get to the honeymoon, and then now you start learning these things about each other. Now you share, by the way, I was engaged, 12 years ago, or I was engaged before. I was in a 12-year relationship. I live with my mom and dad, but it's by choice because my mom is sick. I've been staying home for 8 months. I've been there for 8 months, but I can move out anytime I want to. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's how you handle that. He handled it wrong, and she's still not able to come to grips with the fact that this man lives.
Oh, it's so bad. But we're gonna get to that. It's so bad. But Madison suggested to him that, I know you want to give her some space and not overwhelm her, but you still got to be pushy because we supposed to be getting to know each other. Yeah. We're married at first sight. I don't know you.
I don't know
Same
you, man.
Same time, man.
Same time.
I don't know you. So I got to give you this information and get some information from you. So that was his suggestion to David. So we see Madison go back, and she goes back to the room and talks to Allan. And we thought it was so funny that when she comes in from the gym, he says, "Hey, was anybody down there?" And it sounded like he might have had a little birdie whisper to him that, "Oh, she was down there with David." But we put it in perspective. I think he was just asking. I told my husband, I think he was just asking, was somebody down there?
Yeah,
not necessarily. Maybe somebody from the couples that we're with. Maybe just somebody, period. We don't know what time they went. Yeah. Maybe he was like, "Gosh, she went early. Wonder was anybody else in the gym that early?" Yeah. So it did look kind of like.
But he was sitting on the bed looking sad though, like he lost his puppy. Like he didn't. And I told my wife, I said, I go to the gym when we go to places. I go to the gym all the time when we go places. I get up and go. And I'm like, "You want to come?" She comes, But like, even if you're not a gym person,
I don't be feeling like getting up early.
I know you
when I'm out of town, staying at a hotel. I'm not.
I do. I get up. I gotta go work out, man. I'm not. I gotta go work.
I would do it, but I'm not getting up at no.
But that's my thing is like y'all newlyweds. He should at least went down and walked on the treadmill, or went and did elliptical.
No, he probably feel like me. Again, I'll do it, but I'm not getting up at no 8 o'clock. I mean, not 8 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
I do 6 o'clock. I'll do 8. I am not getting up at no 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm at a resort. I'm chilling. Why the freak would I be getting up early?
I'm a 6 o'clock person. Sorry.
I ain't gotta get up early. I'm not gonna get up early.
I'm a 5:30, 6 o'clock person. Sorry.
No.
So he may.
I stay up late.
I
don't get it. But I don't work like that. I think y'all probably know too. Y'all can tell. Videos look different.
Videos look different when we do them late, huh?
or too early.
Or too early. They look different. The energy be off. But anyway.
And so she talks about the fact that she chatted with David about, how their marriages are going, which I hate to say marriages, their relationships, right? Because it's a marriage, but it's not, and, they said they had a good time, and they talked about, again, each other's relationships and how she gave him advice, and Allan agreed with the advice that she gave David. And Allan says, "Okay, so what is it that I need to do? Like, should I be more assertive?" And she's like, how do you deal with conflict? I don't know if you should be more assertive. Like, what if I push back? Because you know what you're gonna do.
He needs to be a little bit more. Put a little bit more. I don't want to say mannish, but be assertive. Tell me what you say and say what you mean. You can mean what you say and say what you mean, and not be mean and nasty, right? Again, it goes back to that leadership quality we was talking about, and how women. There's some women who want men to actually lead, men to be men, and there's some men who don't know how to be that leader or that provider. And not saying that you got to be. I'm not talking about caveman, but I mean talking about having a discussion and say this is how we want. I don't know you, right? You don't know me. So we got to have a conversation about, okay, what do you What does a husband leading look like to you?
Mm-hmm.
What does a husband leading look like to me? Because we can have two different views of what a leading husband looks like, and we could both get it wrong, and we be mad at each other. She's not giving him no guidance, and he's not giving her any guidance of what his leading role should look like, what he thinks his leading role look like, and now she should be giving him some advice about, hey, this is what I think my leading role look like, because we come from two different homes, right? He come from a home where a family was split. He may not have seen that. I can't remember. She come from a home where her dad was there all the time, because her dad asked her about, hey, who dad was always involved, because he want to see your STD records, right, bro? So again, a home where your dad wasn't there and a home where your father is there, leading a role of a man leading looks different.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what she's trying to say. What does it look like to you?
Yeah. But they have a conversation about how do you deal with conflict. And he was like, I just be like, how do we get past this? And I figure out what not to do next time. And she talks about the fact that, I don't want to be offensive and call you a pushover, but you very much give me that you're a people pleaser.
You're pushover vibes. You're giving pushover vibes.
I don't want you to always be worried about the other person, like be concerned about Allan sometimes. And he says, do you consider me a pushover? And she says, like, I just want you to speak up. Don't walk on eggshells around me. Basically, what she said to David, like, you're walking on eggshells around her. Like, don't do that. And
the advice that she was giving David is what she wanted to tell her man. I mean, let's be honest. The advice that she gave David is what the advice she should be giving Allan.
It applies to both of them.
Right. Don't walk on eggshells. Say what you mean. If she'll be mad at you, she'll be mad at you, bro. She's gonna be mad. It's okay.
Yeah. She was like, you're a caregiver. I want you to care for yourself too. And he just talks about the fact that, I'm concerned about my happiness. And, if I'm not happy, I know how to get up and go. I'm not getting ready to just stay in something that, like he says, basically I learned my lesson.
From being his last toxic relationship.
I'm not going to stay in something if it's not serving me. Then we see them go paddle boating, and, he's hopeful still, even though he's not getting a romantic vibe. He said that first night, the wedding night was cool, but it did kind of taper off. And he asked her, like, what did you envision a husband to be? And she was like, somebody that got similar lifestyles and viewpoints and values. And, he's like, I like the man I am now. It took me a while to get where I am. So maybe I will wear funny looking clothes, And she was like, yeah, like them swimming trunks you got on right now it was watermelon and something else.
Watermelon and something. That was weird.
Was it fish? I don't know.
But he likes it to be different. So you got to be able to, I mean, you can't, this is the thing, you can't change people, right? You're not going to change them, right? And I don't expect in a marriage, I've learned, we've been 23 years, you're not going to change them. You're going to, I don't want to use the word change. They'll be willing to maneuver differently around you. It's not walking on eggshells, but they'll be willing to compromise, right? There's some fashion. We know somebody now who's fashion style. You all right? Let me pat you on the back.
Sure.
Okay. I got you. You good?
Yeah.
Can't do that on camera.
What you mean?
You can't pass on?
Have a.
We can't.
They have a moment on camera.
Yeah, man. But we know people. We know people who who fashion sense is unique, and their wife is still with them, and they just have that conversation about it. And so you just having a conversation. You're not gonna change this dude you start dressing him the way that you want to be dressed, because then what's gonna happen? He's gonna go back and think about this pretty boy comment, and now you're in a whole different conversation. Well, you're trying to make me like the guys they used to deal with. Mm-hmm. You don't want that conversation. You want him to be him, and you be you, and then y'all mesh this bad boy together.
Yeah, but she said she would kind of be embarrassed walking down the sidewalk with him. Might have to fix that up.
But that's him, though. I mean, that's the uniqueness of his style.
And when he talks about his unique style, then he tells her this story about this couple that he knows, and he just goes on and on and on and on. She was like, man, you take a long time to explain the story. We're going to have to help you with that rambling because, no.
Now,
he was like, I am bad about that.
You can help him with that. you know.
He said, I am bad about that. And he just says, when it comes to like his style or whatever, like we're not gonna like everything that each other does, but we want, but I also don't want to make you feel uncomfortable. So goes to what you said, like I'm gonna change myself within
limits.
Like, she wouldn't want him, like you don't want that either, for him to completely conform to what it is that because here we go back to the pushover part. Like you don't want that either,
right? Because if he totally conforms to what you want, he's a pushover. He's what you exactly said. You got to have a compromise in the middle, and so that's where you got to be at. But that's them. So let's get to this train wreck.
Lord have mercy. So again, David met up with Madison in the gym, and so from there, here's tricky camera trick. We see Michelle talking to her sister on the phone, but the camera purposely gives us a picture of these shoes
and David's underwear
on the floor. Well, it wasn't his underwear; it was the shorts he was walking in.
Yeah,
when he met with Madison.
No, it was under his underwear. But either way.
But I distinctly remember when he was walking, he had those pinkish yellow shorts. Those were down there too. But anyway, and so while she's talking to her sister, it makes it like she's talking to her sister while he's at the gym, but ain't no way, boy. Because the shoes he had on at the gym is sitting right there.
Right.
And you see it later when he comes back and talks. Right. But anyway, so she's sitting there talking to her sister.
Those scenes were flipped.
Right. She's sitting there talking to her sister about how rainy the weather is. And she said, she shares, that they're not doing well. Her sister's like, are you having fun? And she's like, I just feel like I'm starting to go backwards. I'm and I can't move past these hurdles. Like, we don't know each other. I'm trying to work past, but I'm putting walls back up. And I feel like I'm being a brat. And so her sister's like, are you trying to have fun?
No.
And not questioning him. And the sister's like, give him a chance. You got to give him a chance. And,
she can't do it.
She was like, we just don't see, or we don't and won't see eye to eye on this living situation. I was like, what do you not see eye to eye about? Like, again, as we said, he said he's only been there for 8 months. His mom said he came home mainly to help us out. I had a health challenge. What is it that you don't see eye to eye about? It's not like he's 36 and been living with his parents since he graduated from high school. That's a whole different story.
Here's the part that I think is stupid. Or I'm going to call it stupid. Y'all apologize if I offend anyone. He's going to move. When y'all go back, Married at First Sight going to give you an apartment. If this works out, he never has to go back to his parents' house again. He can leave from the apartment from Married at First Sight and move to wherever y'all going to move to. He ain't got to go to your apartment. He doesn't have to go back home.
But I feel like that's her problem too. It's like the only reason that you're not staying with them is because they're moving us into a place. If it wasn't for Married at First Sight, if it wasn't for them moving us into a place, you would still be at your mother's house.
No, I'll be at your spot.
She is really stuck.
I'll be at your spot because we married with you.
No. I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. If you hadn't done Married at First Sight and got married to somebody, and if they weren't giving us a place, you would still be at your mama's house. Later on, she gets like she said earlier, the previous day, you're 36, you live with your parents. Like, that's just, who does that? Like, she is stuck. She's stuck. It's really bad.
I'm glad he gave it to her a little bit today.
Yeah, so he comes in from the gym. How's the gym? She said it was good. Ran into Madison there, and we worked out together. And then he goes into the advice that, like, I want to get to know you. I want to ask some questions, but, like, I'm trying not to be pushy. Like, I want to ask about your last relationship. Like, what was your family life like? He shares that, in my that's when he finally shares my last relationship. I had a 12-year relationship on and off. I got tattooed. Why did you get a tattoo? I wanted to confess my love to her. And in her vignette, she was like, yeah, no. like tattooing somebody's name on you. Like, who does that? That's what she said.
That's what she said.
She said, like, who does that? Like, that's not. And he's like, you know, I plan to go get it removed. Just haven't, I just haven't done it yet. Maybe that's something we could do together. That'll let you know how serious I am, which I thought was so funny because you got it to prove the other chick how serious you were about her. And now you're getting it removed to show her how serious. And she was like, that's not
a date
I want to go on. Like,
yeah.
She's like, have at it, get it done yourself. Like, no.
And I like, you're so rude. It's not about the fact that you're going with, it's about y'all spending time together, right? It's about the time that you're trying. Dude is trying. Y'all people may not like him, may not like his ponytail, but I can tell you one thing. He is trying. He is trying. And he's trying too much because he has a lot of patience. Most guys would have been like, deuces, all right, I'm done. I'm out. My man Chris, when he was dealing with Alyssa, was like, he started hanging out with the other couple, right? Again, he is constantly trying. He said it, I think, I can't remember, the after party or one of the, yes, I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to give up. I don't quit on things. I'm going to keep going. After she keeps showing her, but he still keeps, even when it was on the boat.
It gets worse. We'll get there. It gets worse.
Yeah, we'll get there. I want to jump. Sorry, we'll get there.
He asked her, do you find me physically attractive? And she was like, I'm having a hard time finding the attraction.
Yo.
He's like, well, hopefully, we'll get there, to come soon. And she's like, mm-hmm. And then she nods, and I put down not convincingly. She nods like, mm-hmm. She's not even trying.
Ain't gonna happen. Ain't no way, boy. Ain't no way.
And she says, I feel like he's trying, but like I don't know him. I don't know him enough to truly open up. And
she's worse than Jeopardy. Stranger danger, stranger danger. This is not that.
What do you mean? I don't know him enough to try to open up, but he's trying to get to know you, and you won't give him a chance to get to know. Like, you're not even trying. What?
It's like him knocking at the door, and you keep keeping the boat locked. And like, I know who it is, but I ain't letting you in. I know who it is, but I'm not letting you in. Then she's not gonna let him in because she's stuck on the fact that he lives with his parents. He is opening up. He's sharing with you. He shared a lot with you, a whole lot with you. And what do we know about her? What did she share with him?
I mean, and then he goes and gets in the shower. And, once he gets out, he was like, hey, would you like to go check out the resort and go grab some lunch? And she was like, I'm frustrated. I feel like it's the same song and dance. I feel like you're living in a fantasy world. And he's like, what fantasy world would that be? And she was like, I feel like you're just asking me vague questions. When he says, "What you're giving me vague answers," she said, "Because you're asking me vague questions." And he's like, "Well, I'm trying not to overwhelm you, but I want to get to know you, and like ask questions like, how's your family life? How's that like?" And she was like, "Why do you want to know about my family?" And he was like, "Because I'm a family person. Duh. We're married. Why would I not want to know your background of the person I'm freaking married to? Are you kidding me?"
And you mad at me about my family anyway. Someone asked you about your family. I told you, she thought it was a dig. She thought it was a jab, like, oh, you want my family? Like, whatever.
No, I don't think I don't think she thought it was a dig. It goes back to I don't know you. And so maybe that's something she only shares with people that but this is different. Every season, we get at least one person with this stupid, like, you got married at first sight. You're going to have to do something that you wouldn't normally do when you first meet somebody. You're going to have to get that deep. You're going to have to talk that serious. Like, you just...
But you see why they on Married at First Sight, because they can't do it in dating. So you can't do it in dating. You definitely aren't going to do it in this process. And she has an issue with that. Open it up. Because if it's not her way, guess what? If it's not what she expects, if it doesn't check the box, she doesn't like it.
It gets worse. He's like, what is it that you want to know about me? She said, nothing at this point.
So rude.
She says, I feel like we're talking in circles. He was like, this is me being me. Like, I'm trying to have a positive mindset. you know, I see you laughing with other people, so I know you're a fun person. I'm just like trying to figure out why she not laughing with me.
Why you ain't laughing with me, dog?
You got a distinctive laugh. I could, you know, and you know, she was like, you know, this is not a good time for me. I think I'm good with this. And like she gets up. I'm good with this right now.
She cuts the conversation just completely off.
And then so he asks, like, you know, do you want to like go take a walk? I'm going to the pool. Let me know after you have a moment to yourself. You know, why don't you text me and let me know? And she says, I'm frustrated. You know, like, was he not in the room when we had this conversation? Like, I feel like it's an uphill battle every day.
Every day.
And then
it's only every 4 days. It's only been 4 days.
Bro.
Every day. Every day's a battle. It's 4 days.
But after that, like we see, he was like, I want to go get the guys together because I just like kind of, you know, want to release and vent. And then we find out that Carla does like a yoga Pilates session with the girls. Like that was her thing. It wasn't really Michelle's idea, but Carla got the girls together. And so, you know, with the guys as they're chatting, he's like, bro, I need your help. Like from day one, I feel like communication has been hard. I don't really know what to do. He was like, I'll tell you what you do. We're going to take these shots, which is crazy. And so he was like, it's been rocky. Like, what can I do to advance? And Casey said, look, for me, I came in this process without any expectations. Looks, personality, like I didn't set myself up to be let down. And it seemed like to me, she came in with expectations. You might want to find that out.
Yeah.
You know?
She came in making sure that her expectation was I didn't want anybody who lived with their parents. I wanted, and
I feel like that wasn't even on.
But she wanted an independent. She wanted an independent person.
Right. This thing people say. I don't even think that was on her bingo card. Like she never. That wasn't on my bingo card. I would get with somebody that lived with their parents.
She told him that she wanted a light-skinned African American man. That's what she liked. Who was independent. It's not that far off, but I'm sure she put, I want an independent man, strong man. And I'm not saying he's not strong nor is he independent. It just doesn't look independent to her when you live in a basement with your parents.
Yeah.
Which is the department, by the way.
Yeah. And they're like, you know, talk to her about her wants, desires, and insecurities. Like, I want to do that. And Juan is like, you know, ask her, what do you want from me? You know, and also not be so serious all the time, but, you know, have fun and take it one day at a time. Mm-hmm. And Allan says that too. Yeah, you know, you got to have fun. And Allan's like, you know, when it comes to me and Madison, like, you know, she's got a great body. And I kind of get an inkling that she's not attracted to me. And Juan is like, you know, find some other stuff. You know, he's trying to find some other stuff when it comes to Carla. You know, he finds her attractive, but you know,
he's been down that road before. Mm-hmm. He's not trying to sleep with. He's trying to do something different.
Ikechi talks about the fact that, you know, MM's the homie. You know, we got that vibe. You know, it's all about freestyle or whatever. And so later on with he shares that. She was like, "Did you call me the homie?"
That's not. Is it not? And he
tried to quantify, like, no, I mean, like, we're friends. Like, he says a lot of people that their person is not their friend. They're just married. They love each other. They're not friends.
He was backtracking.
Yeah.
He was backtracking. He was spinning the wheels. He was backtracking. He was trying to find something to. And so she was upset with the homie thing. I don't see why. You know, some people say you my ride or die. Isn't that the same thing saying you my homie?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
So check. But I don't know where I am. When it comes to the girls were chatting. Dang. I don't know. I take notes, y'all, and I just lost my place. But when the girls are talking, Michelle kind of shares, you know, that, you know, I'm frustrated when he left. I told him to give me my space, and he left. And he texted me and he called me, and I didn't respond. And I know it was wrong for not responding, but I was like, give me my space. And you can't put a time frame on how my space. And they were like, basically, what you need to communicate with him. You gotta tell him that.
Like, my space is, give me a couple hours. Give me 35 minutes. Give me a whole day, right? Communicate what space is. He might be saying, are you hungry, right? I'm downstairs getting some tacos. You want something to eat, right? Communication is never wrong. And when you communicate, yeah, I want some tacos, but bring them out in a couple hours. I'm still not finished with my space. Communicate with that.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But you know, they just really gave her some advice. You know, you got to make the best of it and try to loosen up.
She has to loosen up, because even when it was on the catamaran or the ship, whatever, she was so tight. He's like, I'm just trying to keep it light. I don't want to talk right now. I'm just trying to keep it light. Like, today's not a heavy day. Keep it light. And it's like, okay, cool, but this is the best place for us to have. We haven't seen each other. I slept on the couch. You slept in the room. We barely spoke this morning. I'm trying to resolve the conversation so we can have a great day. And that's one of my pet peeves. Like, look, let's not be mad forever at each other. At the end of the night, like, don't let the sun go down on your wrath. Let's get this bad boy straight, because tomorrow when we wake up, we want to have a great day. I don't want to waste time being mad. Life is short. Let's not waste time being mad. Let's not, like, you're in Mexico. You're having fun. You're married. You're newlywed. And you're sitting there like, got sourpuss.
Yeah, she's like, I found it. She said, we on the struggle bus.
On the struggle bus.
Yeah, and Emmett was like, you know, maybe he don't know how to communicate with you because he don't know you, and he's trying to get to know you. So like, cut him some slack. And
I'm saying this.
She says every day I feel like I'm the bad guy because I'm bringing up stuff or whatever.
You are. The way you bring it, not that you bring up stuff, the way she brings it up is bad.
Right.
The way, the attitude that comes with it, right? There's ways that you can do things to look for resolution and try to solve without pointing fingers and being derogatory.
But she even made a point to say, you know, I know, you know, we don't know each other. The only way we can get to know each other is if we talk, but talking is hard, apparently, for Michelle.
It is.
And, you know, that's what she talked about. You know, she asked him for a moment. Like, my moment is actually a whole day. You should have said that then.
Should have said 24 hours.
Should have said that then.
Say less.
Camille just encouraged her. You got to look for the positives, you know, and get out of your head. Madison said, ask him some questions. You know, he's trying to get to know you. So maybe you should ask him some questions to start there. And Camille asked the group, not so much Michelle, because ain't no way. But you know, have you taken some steps towards intimacy? And you know, Madison says, you know, attraction and romance has been the hard piece for her. She's trying, but you know, it's not what she expected or what she thought how it would be. And so the girls just I feel like the guys, their conversation maybe was more, I don't want to say it was more productive. I think it was better for David.
More better. It was better for David. More better blues. It gave David more insight and advice, right? These guys were giving him some nuggets, and the girls were giving her nuggets. But you can't give anybody nuggets who ain't got a bucket open, right? She had her mind. She already has her mind made up what she's gonna do, and she's just talking to have a conversation. She's not talking to change.
And they just have a rough time, like you said, when they go out on a boat. Like, he's trying to talk to her. What did you do while I was gone? And she was like, you know, I talked to my friends, and then I went to bed. And because later he doesn't actually come. He's like outside by the pool. He eats out there. Has I think this is when he said he had a steak or whatever.
Yeah, the steak.
And I might go back to the room. I might not. He ended up sleeping on the couch. Yeah. And you know, he's trying to, you know, have a conversation. What did y'all talk about? She was like, look, I'm just trying to keep it light. She says because they slept in different spots, they hadn't even really spoken. They didn't speak to each other that night since they woke up in the morning. They hadn't spoke. She was like, small talk is fine with me. I don't want to have no deep conversation. And while she's on the boat, like, she really going through it. And she talks to the producer, like, I can't do this. I can't do this.
Go home. Go home, Roger. Go home, Roger. Go home.
And she's like, you know, I feel like it's pointless. I'm not sure how I'm doing it. And I'm closing myself off. Everything is annoying me. And he's not annoying. He's really a good guy. I'm not sure if I even want to try. And the producer was like, why did you want to do this? You have to get back to your reason for why you wanted to do Married at First Sight. She was like, at this point, I don't even know. I'm shut down.
Pastor Cal, Dr. Pia, Dr. Pepper, help her, please. Hey, you should have a bat phone and be able to call. Right now, I'm gonna call a friend. I need to call an expert. I need to call an expert right now. Need help. I need to call an expert because I'm struggling and I can't see my way through.
And that's what I wanted to say too. Let me go back. So after they had the conversation, to give her space, they do meet up for dinner.
Yeah.
And like that conversation was fruitless too. He was like, I'm trying to move forward. I'm committed to this. I'm trying, but it's like not going well. And, I'm trying to be in this marriage. What does the husband look like to you? And that's why I checked up on you. I was texting because I felt like that's what a husband would do. But no, you don't need to check up on me. Don't do that. It bothers me. It irks me. It makes me angry. Back off a little bit. And he was like, look, I give you all the freaking time you need. You good.
Here it is. Women, your husbands are not Miss Cleo. Then explain to them, especially here, give him some insight, right? He's trying to do all the husband things. He thinks he's doing things right. But that's not your love language. That's not what you want. That's not, but you never communicate that to him. So he put forth all this effort, do all this stuff, and now and you don't even say, oh, you know what, I appreciate it. Thank you. But this is what I mean.
Right. Explain.
You see how it's a difference there, right? Don't just go off on a brother. Explain to him, this is what I think about how, and we got to wrap this up. We think about how when you're sick, I always come back to this one. When we first got married and you were sick. When she was sick, I let her sleep. I would clean the house up, take care of everything, boom, 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 boom. And you
always tell it wrong. I didn't want you to sit in a room with me.
I didn't say sit in the room.
But you said that before. I wanted you to come check on me.
I checked on you. You were asleep. How you know you sleep? But I realized, so now when she's sick, guess what I do?
I don't want it no more.
And that's what women be doing.
I don't want it no more. I'm over it. I'm over it. As you can tell, I'm coughing right now.
I just rubbed your back.
Like no, that's not my point. My point is, but I didn't ask you to do that. You offered.
You don't have to. I got
that's
you.
That's not the point.
I got
you.
Anyway, I got you.
Anyway, so he got so frustrated, like he walked off. He walked off and was like, you know what? Now I need a moment. It gets frustrated.
No. It gets frustrated when you're trying the best you can and the person is not appreciating your efforts.
Yeah, so all that happened before they got on the boat. Yeah. And she had a little breakdown with the producer or whatever. And one thing she did say, she said, I'm a control freak. And this stuff is out of my control. And I don't like it. I want to leave. It's bothering me. I want to leave, but I need to stay, stick with this. And I don't know what to do.
She wants to control David, and she can't. And that's the problem. When you're a control freak and you have a spouse that you can't control.
No, she wanted to control
the situation.
How the spouse they gave her.
The spouse was right.
Not so much control him,
but
yeah. And y'all gave me something again. It wasn't on my bingo card.
Wasn't on my bingo card. So we'll see how it works out, man. Y'all leave a comment in the comment section below. Let us know what your thoughts were and what your thoughts are.
Do you take care of your wife when she's sick?
Do you take care of your husband when he's sick? Yeah. She took care of me when I was sick.
I was about to say, very rarely do you get sick.
Very rarely.
But when you was down and out with that COVID, with that coronavirus, I took care of you.
You took very good care of me. You did.
I'd be a piss poor nurse if I took care of other people and didn't take care of my.
You took an oath. Wait, and I'm talking about you took a marriage vow. What's that? Anyway,
that's the Girl Scout.
The Girl Scout oath. But you took a marriage vow oath for sickness and sickness and health and death to us part. So we take care of each other. But hope y'all enjoyed the review. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification. You see, we like having fun. We love each other. So once again, talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.